So today we're going to take a look at 100 Thieves versus TSM on Haven, or El Cloutico, as I'm going to start calling it. And it was a very, very well played game by TSM, and yeah, so we're just going to take a look at how they managed to win. We do have a couple things to note for TSM. One is that we had a bit of a role swap between GMD and Subroza, which I think just helped them. It wasn't that either player was bad on their other roles, but I think that, you know, in particularly Subroza, you know, just looks more comfortable with playing Sky, and it kind of fits his kind of aggressive playstyle a bit more, I think. So I think overall that helped them, and they're also playing the Neon, which I think they found decent value out of as well on Haven. So let's take a look, and also Corey is just going to go absolutely crazy. I think he ends up like 24-6 or something on this map, so that helped as well. But let's take a look at how they managed to go about it, and we'll start on the pistol round. And these first two rounds I'm actually going to show you, to me, seems like TSM just knowing what 100 Thieves were going to do, right? Because they flash out here door. They initially, you know, kind of just paused to wait to see if there was any aggression from 100 Thieves. But they're going to come to this B site. And so they're going to smoke off the top there for GMD. They send in a breach flash. They're going to smoke off the C link as well. And they're going to enter in onto this site, right? And they're going to clear out this B site. But then they're going to do something a bit weird, because we've got Subroza with the dog here. And he's going to dog out A link, right? But they're already on B site at this point. But actually, they're going to follow the dog. Now, we've just seen Corey TP away there on the chamber after he got flashed here. But they're actually just going to follow this dog. Really kind of weird little thing. And so in they go, right? They're going to breach flash towards the A site here. They send the Omen flash down here. And yeah, they're going to make this cross back towards this A site. Now, the thing is, in this situation, right, when you do something a bit weird like this, is that it can be really advantageous to just leave a couple people behind in weird areas, right? Because when you have something weird, you know, oftentimes the other team will be focusing on, hey, what the hell are they doing? Oh, they're going A link. You know, the focus will very much be on that. And so if you just leave someone like they have with GMD here, just on B site, they'll just get completely lost in the shuffle, and you'll probably end up with a free kill. And that is exactly what happens. The problem often with crossing this A link, though, and doing what they've done, is that these players on site are still in a lot of trouble, right? Yeah, sure, they've come down here, but there still could be anyone in heaven. There still, as you can see, could be someone pushed up short. There could be someone pushed up long as well, you know, and Corey is still quite far away, so you know, they're still in a bit of a dangerous position, and that actually is going to play out as well. But they are going to find some free kills, right? Corey is going to be able to find this Sky, and GMD here is also going to get a free kill on this Omen as well, which we can see. You see Banks completely taken off by surprise there, and so they get a free kill. But whilst that's going on, we have got another kill from Stella here towards Subroza, because as I mentioned, they're kind of in a weird spot where they don't know if anyone is really pushed up, and so they have to come off the spike and try and fight it. Now, they do manage to find that kill, and they get the free kill on the Sky from the chamber as well, but in come the Sky and the breach, and now the Neon here, 7, is in a bit of a trouble, right? Because he's in a 2v1 and he ends up losing that fight. So we end up in a 2v2, and you might think, okay, 2v2 with the spike, this is 100 Thieves, you know, they should be favored in this situation, but actually not really, right? And you can kind of tell by just the way that they are playing, because they're like back to back. And the problem is, there's 4 ways that these TSM players can come, right? So they have to, each player has to worry about 2 different angles, right? Which is just a nightmare scenario, really, to be in, particularly for this Jet, because these are completely different elevations as well. It's kind of a nightmare scenario for them that, you know, TSM can really come from a lot of different angles. And that plays out pretty perfectly, because what we'll see here is Corey is going to find this first kill on Derek here. And now Will, you know, has to worry about Corey. He knows where he is, so GMD starts shooting there, starts getting a few tags on Will. And then I love this TP by GMD as well. You know, they're in a 2v1 now, so just play together, play as a team, and you'll be fine. There's no need to, you know, sort of stick around in heaven. That's exactly what they do, and they find that kill and win the round. Very nice, sort of weird round to start by TSM, but I think it showed like a lot of the things that went on in this game, in terms of they had a pretty good plan. You know, they executed it pretty well overall, and also they seem to have a pretty good idea of what 100 Thieves were going to do. And now let's come to round number 3, and what we're going to see here is some early aggression actually from 100 Thieves. They send in the Aftershock, then in a one-way they send in a Sky Flash as well. Luckily for GMD here, there isn't anyone to try and punish that and swing with it. And again, you're going to see that TSM seem to have a pretty good idea of what 100 Thieves are going to do. They send in the same Omen Smoke, they send in a Sky Flash, they send in the neon shock there. They put a smoke down here as well towards the C link, and they get in onto this B site again. But again, they have this dog still waiting for them, right? They didn't want to clear the B site with it. They want to get aggressive towards the A link, and this is really quite important here for getting the spike down, because sometimes this can be a bit of a difficult plant on this B site, right? When you have defenders who are right there, you know, ready to re-aggress and potentially kill you before you get that spike down, but not for TSM, because they're going to play this B site plant a lot more aggressively than you know, a lot of teams will, because a lot of teams will want to just plant the spike and then get out as soon as they can, but not TSM, not in this round, which is just their bonus, so it does make more sense, I guess. But yeah, we're going to get this Skydog down towards the A link. You see the neon, it goes in following it, sends in the shock in there as well. And yeah, really, really nice. And then the neon's able to get away. They clear it all out, and they're just going to stay and fight here, which again, I think catches 100 Thieves a bit off guard. You can see that they think they're going to get this area for free. Will gets tagged up really hard there, and then 7 even goes swinging with it as well, and then is able to get out and live. And so you can see they're just kind of taking a bit of back. Will again seems to think that, you know, this is going to be clear for them. You know, he just jumps down on his own, and again, 7 is there to punish him. They start getting trades off on the other side, and as I said, like normally what you'll see is you can see 100 Thieves have smoked this off, but it doesn't really matter, because other than the push from Garage, which they have Corey watching, everyone else is there like ready to fight, right, with their worst guns. They didn't really play this like a lot of teams would, and they got rewarded for that in the fact that, you know, they just kept finding these kills, some really nice trades, and then GMD eventually is able to flash bang there at the end, and they find the round win on their bonus. Really nice round from TSM again, and I think that, again, this all came about from just kind of, you know, film study on 100 Thieves and knowing exactly how 100 Thieves would play, and that they would get a pretty free B site, and so therefore could, you know, even have the luxury of dogging from actually inside the B site. And now let's come to round number 6, and this was a GMD round. He does really, really well in this round, and actually starts off, because we're going to get the chamber up here onto C, actually starts off with this smoke, right, which is just a smoke to help you just creep up towards C. And oftentimes, you know, a lot of people will be like, yeah, I understand we could use the smoke, but I don't really want to use this smoke because I'd rather use them for on the site, right? But because you have the neon wall, that's going to help them, you know, kind of secure the site, and they'd rather just not die to the op, essentially. You know, they'd rather have full 5 people alive here, because this is just going to be a C push, and it's going to go pretty well for them, as you'll see, because yeah, they put down this smoke, they managed to walk up, you know, very far. The chamber there on the up feels like he has to leave. In comes the execute. We get a breach stun. We get the neon wall. We get a breach flash, you know, a sky flash, a neon relay bolt, all of that, right? It's all coming in. It's all quite nice. And, well, they force 100 Thieves to play retake against them, right? And actually, 100 Thieves are retaking with 2. They've got the chamber, ult, and an op on Will as well. So it's a 5v5 retake with 2 ops. So, you know, not ideal. But in we go, right? And so what's going to happen is 100 Thieves are going to send in the dog first, all perfectly normal. In comes the aftershock. But now 100 Thieves are going to try this retake with the sky ult, right? Which is a perfect thing to do. They send in the sky ult, they're going to get a sky flash, but GMD times this one-way smoke really, really well. And this flash as well really, really saves them, right? Because what 100 Thieves ideally want to do is they want to go in with the sky ult, with the sky flash, with, you know, all of this utility. We're going to get an Omen flash down here as well, right? That would be the ideal time for them to come in onto this site. But unfortunately, they've been flashed by this Omen flash, and there's a one-way there, so they don't really feel comfortable in doing so. And you'll see that that has a massive impact on this round, because when they actually start to come in, right, Bang was the one who was kind of a bit disconnected from the team here. So he thinks that everyone's ready to come in after he's flashed, but actually they aren't, right, because they've been flashed and because they've been one-wayed and whatnot. So he ends up dying with, you know, no trade potential, essentially. And then Will dashes in, but then again, the same thing happens where, you know, the timing is now off with Bang swinging there, and so he dies as well to these 2 players who are now ready to swing on him instead. Whilst we've got that going on, we also have GMD getting a kill from the one-way on Asteron as well. You could just see that the timing for 100 Thieves were just completely missed, that they kind of had to go in a beat behind their utility, and that allowed TSM to just absolutely farm here. And it was really just off the back of GMD putting up that one-way plus the flash there, catching, you know, 3 or 4 of them, really just helped them win this round. And now let's come to round 10, and this is just a round where, again, it seemed like everything was working for TSM, because what we get off the start here is Corey being seen by this dog, although I don't actually think he was seen by this dog, because he's actually all the way up against the wall, and so GMD is going to shoot the dog, and I guess it must not see him, just based off, you know, what Asuna does next, because he goes and swings it, and Corey hits an insane shot, right? So You know, Corey was just hitting everything, and so that definitely helps. And then we get the smoke from Bang, and TSM, you know, they see this as an opportunity, right? They see, oh, a smoke there, you know, sort of on deep sea. That means that we can walk all the way up there, right? And that's exactly what they do. And they do something quite interesting here in that they're gonna actually not smoke, and they're actually just gonna use their flashes first. So as you see, they don't smoke anything off. They don't want 100 Thieves to know that this is what they're doing, right? Because in theory, they could go anywhere, right? They could be anywhere on the map at this point, TSM. And so what they want to do here is not tip off 100 Thieves that, you know, oh, by putting smokes over here and here, like, oh yeah, it's just going to be a C hit. They'd rather just, you know, go in and feel comfortable in a 5v4 doing that. So they're going to send in the Sky Flash, they're going to send in the Omen Flash, they're going to send in a Relay Bolt back here from the Neon, and go in off that. Now, I'm not quite sure why 7 doesn't use his wall. I still would have thought that would have been a pretty good idea for how, you know, sort of quick it goes up and whatnot, but he doesn't use his wall, but it works out fine for them either way because he does slide into the site. We get a Breach Flash there as well, as you can see, and they get a really nice little trade as soon as he slides in. They find the trade, and now they get in onto the site, right? But now the rotates are starting to come in. Now they have gone for these Omen smokes as well, by the way, and so what we get is a very nice sort of just in the moment decision to go for the Breach ult as well. Just feel the timing of like people are probably here right now, and so they go for the Breach ult, and actually hits both the Breach and the Jet, and that's going to win them this round pretty much because they're able to find the kill on Derek, and then of course Will is in a pretty terrible position there as well, and so they find the kill on him as well, and so that we end up in this 4v1 against Stella, and of course TSM are going to win this. And you see that just TSM, like, it just seemed like they had a plan, right? It seemed like everything, you know, was done with a purpose. Everyone kind of understood what they were doing, and even, you know, little decisions like where Corey was standing there at the back, everything just seemed to be working for them, and obviously he hits that insane shot as well. And yeah, it was just a really nice round from TSM again. Now let's come to round 13, and I mentioned Subroza being back on the sky, and I think that this was a round where we saw the comfort of Subroza really coming in handy for TSM, because what we're going to get from 100 Thieves as their attacking pistol round here is just an A hit, right? They send the Skydog in, it sees definitely the Neon, maybe the Breach as well, and they just start to come in onto the site, and they're even actually able to find the first kill here onto the Breach with Will. He finds that kill, but 7 is able to trade one back out onto the Omen there. So we end up in a 1-for-1, but if we take a look at where 7 is right there, you might think, how on earth is 7 going to live in this instance when we have both Asuna and Will here looking directly at him, and he just had his back turned, and he's mid-air? How is he ever going to live? Well, it comes from this, because Subroza has sent this Sky Flash up over the top of like the wall of A, you know, from back here deep in Narnia, over this wall in A, and it's going to catch both these players, and that's going to allow 7 to live, and Corey is right there to trade it off as well. So really, really nice little Sky Flash there. So Corey's going to actually find that kill rather than 7 dying instead, which is really big. And then he's actually going to send in another one. You can just see it here. They sent in the Omen Flash as well, but they're actually going to send in another Sky Flash, and then they're just going to peek off that. You can see that Asuna is completely blind, and so he gets a free nice little kill there. And then we're in this very advantageous situation. Now, whilst that went off, a chamber trap went off here as well, so they know that someone is coming in from B, and they're just going to collapse in on Derek here. We actually get the Skydog coming in as well, just to confirm where he is. And they managed to get that kill with GMD dropping down from heaven there. And then they know where this last player is because they'd seen the chamber trap get destroyed on B, and Subroza ends the round. And we see there, you know, just his kind of comfort level, right? Like, all of the decisions are kind of made before. He knows exactly where to put those flashes, and it worked really, really well, and it won them this round. And finally, let's come to round number 19, which is a crazy, crazy round, because it's all going to go crazy here in A lobby, because TSM want to go pushing in and get aggressive here towards A lobby, but we're going to see just an absolute monster exchange of utility from both sides, and everything's going to go pretty wacky, and you'll see what I mean, because here we go. We get the common jet smoke, the breach stun down here, the sky flash coming from 100 Thieves, very normal stuff, right? They get that early control. But here's a skybird from TSM instead. They're going to put down this omen smoke as well, and as you can see, they're starting to come in, right? They're sending this omen flash as well. Problem for them is that 7 got caught by both the breach stun and the flash, so you can see he's blind and stunned, and so Will gets a free kill as he tries to put up a bit of a blind wall there. And then we're actually going to get a skydog as well. You can see that the breach stun actually comes in from TSM from way downtown here, actually in Garage. That's pretty nutty that it reaches that far, but it does. And so they get that stun in there as well. GMD is actually going to go for a bit of a TikTok play here because he comes on top of the wall. They actually send in the Sky ult as well from Subroza, as you can see. And so Asuna gets blind and he gets that kill. Subroza is able to find one in the smoke as well. They get the spike down, and now GMD gets pretty unlucky because I'm pretty sure this bang flash here from Omen, who's now towards long, was actually meant for Subroza, who obviously had just got a kill from behind this wall. But actually it catches now GMD, who's now just teleported into that location, and so Derek gets that kill as well. Whilst that's gone on, Will has managed to wrap all the way around here and find Subroza, but he's about to get traded out as well. So just an absolutely absurd round, and we end up in a 2v2. Everything has gone absolutely crazy. We're in a 2v2, everything settles down for a while, and actually 100 Thieves here, they're going to use the Omen ult to get in onto this C site here. They start planting the spike, and the rotates come in from TSM. So to get the spike down, the thing is though, there is this little chamber trap on the site, and I'm not quite sure that, you know, Bang was really aware of that, and so he actually does run into it and it goes off, and so he has to TP away. So obviously Rossi here, he hears the TP, right? He doesn't know where exactly it's gone, but he can pretty safely assume that this has gone off. So, you know, he quickly checks left, but he's pretty sure, you can tell his crosshair is pretty trained on it, they ping it as well, that he's going to be in there. And so he sends in the aftershock as well. And now the thing is, Derek has the right idea, right? Because he has a flash and his teammate is in massive trouble. He needs to get out of here. He knows that two people are going to be looking at him. So Derek does go for this flash, but it's just ever so late. You can see that Bang has had to jump out just before the flash has actually come out. And so Rossi is actually able to get that kill, and we end up in a 2v1. Very like slight timing, unlucky really for 100 Thieves. Both sides send out a breach stun, but actually Derek's lands and he's able to get that kill. We end up in a 1v1 versus Corey, and well, Corey was just, as I said, having a monster game. He manages to get it to half. He takes a look. He's actually going to miss probably the only op shot he missed in the entire game, but then he's going to manage to finish it off with the chamber headhunter there to finish it. So really nice from TSM, very nice win for them. Nice little 2-0 over 100 Thieves, and yeah, they go forward and they looked very good, particularly with the role swap. So very excited to see what they can do in these upcoming weeks.